what happens. Okay. Stream should be working, and now I think our voices are broadcasting, but not the picture just yet. Now I gotta try and find out where it is, just in case anyone happens to watch and they want to comment. You know, I want to be able to see it on the screen. Yep, looking good. It is actually working. What happens? Oh yes, very nice. And remember to mute that. Okay, cool. Now I'll just I just tweeted out a message so maybe people can watch it.
Yeah, I'll retweet that actually.
I'll just get the direct link. Direct. You the Bitcoin Tramp or just Bitcoin? Ah, there we go. All good.
Excellent.
Now, and the sound is coming out too, which is also very good. And yeah.
Right, I'll retweet that as well quickly.
There's one more thing I gotta do to that Skype window. They I had this thing where, like, if people resize their Skype window while they were on the call, it resized it on the live screen too.
Ah, right.
Hilarious results. Alrighty, is anyone actually watching yet? I don't think they are, because I don't see anyone there yet.
So, be recorded anyway, so people can still see it after, can't they?
They can, yeah, and they can hear our voices. Just as a warning.
Excellent. Right. No swearing then, yeah?
You're allowed to swear on this channel.
Okay, I'll bear that in mind.
That's why I keep the MetaNet TV ones and this one a different color. It's just so I can look at the screen and tell if I'm able to, like, say anything I want or if I should be nice about it.
So what, you have directives over there and on how you're supposed to communicate and stuff?
Yeah, kind of self-directives. Just, you know, we keep it professional. This one's a little bit more chilled out and relaxed, so it's
cool. That's what we like.
People can speak their minds, and I hope you do. So
yeah,
anyone who's tuning in, this is John, Bitcoin SV Train. I'm here with Nick, Bitcoin Tramp, and let's have a look. There we go. Now people can actually see us. This is
Excellent.
Live on YouTube. Feels like a big event because I haven't actually done a live stream since August, and I think the last live stream I did on this channel, you were on it. And
it was with Satoshi, wasn't it?
It was with Satoshi, yeah.
Yes,
and
good fun.
I think you said at the time, let's do it again sometime. I didn't think it was going to be like 8 months until we managed to do it again. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, John. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No worries. This is a bit experimental here because yeah, like I said, it's the first time I've streamed on this channel for a very long time, and some things may not work as well as they should. So yeah, we're just... Oh yes, some people dropping into the chat room already.
Good stuff.
Good to see you.
Welcome,
hey,
everybody.
So man, what's up?
Wow, what a start to the year, John. Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but didn't see it coming. I wasn't really sure if anything was going to happen, but it was a really nice start to the year for all of us. And I think, given the year that we had last year, it felt like a really long year, 2019, in this space. I don't know how you feel about that. Did you feel that as well?
Yeah, when I think back about everything that happened, it was a long year too.
Yeah. Just felt like we were just going nowhere for a long time, didn't it?
It kind of did. Although at the same time, you know, I saw a lot happen too. I mean, at the very start of 2019, I was still pretty much a Bitcoin Cash guy. Like I didn't
Really?
Yeah, I didn't jump straight into.
Should we stop this interview now?
Oh no, I think that's pretty well known. Because I mean, I gotta say it because then anyone who wants to Google it can see articles and see what I was saying. I never actually said anything against BSV. I never had a problem with it. I was kind of curious about the fork. I wasn't really sure why it was happening in the first place because to me there wasn't any big fundamental difference in ideology like there was with the the BTC and Bitcoin Cash split the year earlier. BSV, BCH, they were both still big blockers. They both still had basically the same ideas, but just it's just different people in charge. So I didn't really have an opinion, but we were kind of with the BCH crowd at that stage. So we were
So this time last year, you was with BCH.
Yeah, although not in any religious way. It's just that those were the people we spoke to the most.
Yeah.
We hadn't committed to it. Like we were kind of, I mean, officially. This is when I worked for bitsonline.com, which is still there. It's a crypto news site. We were like officially chain agnostic. We covered all crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. But because of who our friends were, we were mainly BCH people. So,
are you still friends with these people now, John?
Well, I am. I don't know if they're still friends with me or not. Like, well, I think there's a lot of people who don't even know. Like, they kind of ask me why I haven't been to the BCH meetup for a long time.
Wow.
And and I do tell them, the reason why, but yeah, I don't know. I think most the BCH people are a bit more chilled than the Bitcoin core people. Like those guys are really ideological. Like they didn't tolerate any kind of opposition at all. But I don't really know many of them anymore. Like they all just kind of stopped talking to me around 2017.
What a shame, man. What a loss.
I guess so. I mean, you could have expected it, really.
One of the differences I see, John, like I saw Roger put a post out at the start of the year, or it might have been the end of last year, but it was something like, I've just paid for my shopping down the shops. BCH is Bitcoin, and I just thought, well done for paying for your shopping down the shops, but I don't think the miners will be able to sort of run a business based on shopping. People going down the shops and shopping. I think I find them a little bit short-sighted when it comes to the actual real development and business side of things. It's like they think that just because you can do your shopping down the shops, that's going to be enough to have a blockchain. I mean, it's peer-to-peer cash and stuff, but what I'm starting to find out, John, is that Bitcoin is just a lot more than peer-to-peer cash. It's a peer-to-peer cash system. And I said, I think a couple of years ago that system is perhaps the most misunderstood word in the white paper, really, because people seem to ignore it. Whereas in BSV, I think people seem to understand what system, what type of system this could be. A lot more than just doing your shopping and buying a Mars bar down the shops and expecting miners to make a living out of the commission off a $20 shopping bill. Not sure if that would really suffice in the long term, John.
I mean, looking back on it, it makes a bit more sense. I never really knew whether Bitcoin was supposed to be just money or whether it was supposed to be a lot more. I mean, the name Bitcoin suggests that it's money, and definitely Bitcoin Cash. Like if you're gonna create a worldwide ledger of truth like they're doing with BSV, like do you really want a name like Bitcoin Cash? It just doesn't
too short-sighted.
Something you would build, smart contracts or enterprise applications.
Exactly.
It just sounds like a payment card or something.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm kind of glad to be rid of that name. Like I never particularly liked it much.
It's a bit short-sighted, John. For me, it's a bit short-sighted. It's just basically saying this is digital cash, and that's where we draw the line. I think in BSV thinking a bit deeper about this. You know, if you look at some of the businesses that are operating on our blockchain, you know, they're a far cry from just being digital cash. I mean, look at the micropayments, for example, how we're using them. I don't see BCH using those types of micropayments at the moment on any applications or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you know, even that alone. I mean, look at the amount of transactions that Twetch are doing now.
Indeed.
You know, they seem to be absolutely flying at the moment, and you know, they're really pressing on sort of trying to get more people involved in this space. And you know, that's totally different from simply just spending some cash down the shops. It's actually a real use case there. People are starting to get on it now. Streamanity, Twetch, you know, many other businesses in our. Do you use Twetch, by the way, John? I don't think I've seen you on there that much.
I do use it, and I occasionally twitch out something, but I haven't become a heavy user yet. It's I think it's like YouTube and Streamanity. You know, I really love Streamanity, and I know I should support it and everything, but I think you just tend to get more, you know, engagement when you're on YouTube, and a little bit more on Twitter. Like I'll post stuff on Twitch, but maybe sort of 1 out of every 3 posts gets 1 like or something. So
yeah, it's hard on there at the moment. And for things with Streamanity and Twetch at the moment, I said to someone the other day, I said they're at the moment they're sort of BSV platforms as opposed to communal platforms that the general population would like to actually use and get engrossed with. You know, I suppose it's quite a difficult task to explain to someone who doesn't understand Bitcoin why you should pay microtransactions to use these types of services. Yeah. But then when you look at Alex Agut's post from yesterday, you see that he's made it, you know, $150 messing around on Twitch. You know, I'm hoping perhaps that those types of, you know, when he shows that type of thing to the masses, then I'm hoping that some people might start seeing, oh, hold on a minute, what's this all about? Perhaps I could make a few quid on here. You know, $150. I've never had $150 from Twitter. You know,
that's true.
Anywhere near $150 from Twitter, you know. So, but then when I look on Streamanity, I was looking on there yesterday, and when you see all the top posts, you know, you've got about 25, 30 videos that are the most popular ones. My dancing video is the only one on there that's not a Bitcoin related video. So when I send my students on there and say, oh, look at this website called Streamanity, Nicky Nu's on there. Oh, Nicky Nu, we can see you. And then they say, well, what's all the other stuff on there? It's rubbish. It's boring, Nick. We don't understand it. It's all Bitcoin stuff. We don't want to look at that. We want to see you dancing. So, you know, for my students who are, some of them are young, like we're talking about 14, 15, 16, I'm trying to get them on Streamanity. And like I say, they're going on there and they're saying this is boring, man. You see, when they go on YouTube, they can, you know, access things that they relate to for free. So I'm just wondering will there be a point where they will start to really value something like Streamanity? And I think the money has to talk. As soon as one of them goes on there and makes a few quid and they tell all their friends, I'm sure the floodgates could open. You know, I'm positive about that.
So can you actually set videos on Streamanity for free yet, or do you have to set a minimum? I think it was minimum like 1 or 5 cents every time I looked.
I can't remember, John. I'm sure they flirted with trying videos for free. What I do know is that once you've watched a video on there, so say if I watch one of your videos on there, John, I can then watch that for free moving forward.
Right. Okay.
You know, so they've changed that. I thought that was a good idea because that's for me, that's the way where before I had to pay, you know, if I wanted to watch your video 5 times, I'd had to pay 5 times. Whereas now I can pay once and watch that video for eternity for free, which I think is pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering because if that limits the audience a bit, if you just have a paid videos up there, because you know discoverability is really important on these platforms, I think. And as much as you want people to pay for what they read and you want to earn something from it, like I think you've really got to give them a taste before they're going to jump in. That's just the way everything is these days.
It's all free, isn't it? I mean, the problem we're going to have is that the advertising model, even though us lot don't like it and we don't necessarily agree with it, and it's very intrusive on your on people in general. You know, I suppose the advantage of Streamanity is that I don't have all these adverts cropping up all the time. Like they know my personal business. You know, I was talking about. I said to someone last week. I said something about Levi's jeans, and then next thing I know, I'm watching YouTube and they're advertising Levi's jeans to me.
Yeah,
And then it's
that's
like every
creepy
time I
as
say
hell.
something now, it's really weird, mate. And you don't get that on Streamanity. I'm hoping in the future, if they do some sort of advertising model on Streamanity, maybe I'll have the choice to sell who I am, my age range, where I live, what jurisdiction I'm in, and then receive monies for watching adverts if that would be the way. But at the moment, I'm people out there that use YouTube and Twitter and services like that. I don't even think do they know what's going on? Do they see their personal information being taken? Do they care? Like you say, will they pay 15 cents for a video they could watch for free on YouTube? Is questions that we have to answer over the next coming years. What do you think? Would you what would you rather do? Would you rather go on YouTube where it's free? Do you use Streamanity at all? Watching the odd video?
Well, I mean, I just like to see the option to make it free. Like if you want to, I mean, by all means, put everything on Streamanity, but I think that there should be an option to at least make it zero, if that's what you want. Like you should have the option to give your stuff away for free, I think.
But then they have to host that video, don't they? So they have to take into consideration the cost of hosting the video as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Which won't be free for them. So I suppose they have to get their numbers right. And when I interviewed Streamanity on the BSV Business Show I think it was last August or July, we spoke about stuff like that. They have to host the videos. So if people just go on there and have a free video and they're not doing adverts, then they're going to struggle to make a few quid.
Yeah.
And sort of.
When you're when you're doing stuff that's like information, news, education about BSV, like you want it to be accessible to people who are not already into BSV. Maybe they've never even heard of it. So if you've got a platform where you need a BSV wallet and you kind of already need to know how to use it just to view a video on the platform, it's not really great for that. Yet.
I agree, John. I have to agree. I mean, we have to start separating things between people like us who know about this and kind of know what we've got a sort of good idea of what we're doing, and people that just simply use YouTube, Twitter, Google, and all those types of services who haven't got a clue what we do. How on earth do we get those people using our platforms? It's a very, very difficult task. I mean, asking people to pay for stuff, and like you've just said there, if you don't understand how a wallet works, how to use a wallet and stuff, could be challenging. However, when one of your friends goes on there and turns around and says, like Alex Agut the other day, I've got $150 for mucking about on this social platform, then perhaps one or two people might see that and think, well, hold on a minute, I'll give that a go. But I do have to agree, like we're at this place, how can we get people using this stuff? It's not easy, is it?
It's not, no. And I don't want to sound like I'm, down on Streamanity or Twitch or anything, because I think they're fantastic. I just think they're still in sort of beta phase at the moment. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Why does that just come up there? Yeah, you've got to question them, John, at the end of the day. Otherwise, if we don't question these things, how are we ever going to know if they're going to work or not? It's all well and good BSV people using them, but what about the masses? What about the people that don't use this? I want them. And I want them to try and start using our platforms, but it's easier said than done. When I go on there at the moment, John, it literally is full of BSV people talking about BSV stuff. So when my students go on there, they're like, this is rubbish, man. What is this? And looking through the eyes of a 15, 16-year-old who wants to be entertained on a social media platform, of course, they're going to be like, this is rubbish, man.
Yeah.
Not many non-Bitcoin videos on Streamanity at the moment. And again, when I was on Twetch yesterday, it was all Bitcoin SV posts. So again, for a non-Bitcoiner to go on there and see it all, what are they going to think?
To be honest, I couldn't imagine why anyone who's not a BSV person would even go to Twitch or Streamanity at the moment, because it is just full of BSV content. Yeah,
but it's for the only angle I can see, John, is for the money. When people start understanding you can actually make money out of it, that's a game changer for me. That is a game changer. I haven't made a lot of money off Twitch, but on Streamanity, I was looking at my balance the other day. I was very pleasantly surprised, actually. Like I say, a lot more money received from Streamanity than I've ever made on anything like YouTube. So,
yeah, to be honest, so did I. Like I just uploaded a couple of old videos there for to experiment, and then when I looked at the wallet the other day, there was actually money in it, money I could spend, and I thought, is is that a result of the price run up this week, or did that actually like come from people watching the videos? I think it was a bit of both. But
Yeah.
I hadn't looked at it before because it was all like 000. I hadn't
It's a bit disheartening.
I hadn't really promoted it much yet. We used it more for MetaNet TV, and it did quite well there. Like the MetaNet TV videos, we watch a lot, and we were putting stuff on there before YouTube too, which helped.
Yeah.
I think if you put stuff on both platforms in tandem, I mean, it's really not that much effort to do it. Like that's probably the best way to go at the moment. Then you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a bit stubborn, John. I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to things like that. So I have a real issue with pressing the upload button on YouTube because I'm so dedicated to Bitcoin. So I have a big issue with uploading stuff on a platform that I don't necessarily believe in. Yeah, so I'm a stubborn person. But now I'm at the stage where I think to myself, I just want people out there that, like you've said 5 minutes ago, that don't necessarily understand what we're doing to have access to that information. But mine are coming 5 months after I made the video.
Right.
So the Streamanity people are getting 5 months worth of content, not content, but 5 months worth of when I made the stuff to have a good look at it. And then I'm starting to stick them on YouTube, and they are getting views as well.
Yeah.
You know, just I'd rather the BSV people have it first. And it's not necessarily the right decision in terms of business or money, but I'm stubborn, man. I'm stubborn. And I do find it really hard to press the upload button on YouTube. It's a very difficult thing for me to do.
So you don't use YouTube at all, do you? You're exclusively Streamanity.
I try not to, John. I try not to because I'm a very, very stubborn person when it comes to stuff like that. I just feel like it's infiltrating on what we do. However, now I'm starting to see the other argument, the other side, like what you've just said there about, well, maybe there's people out there that can't even use a Bitcoin wallet that might want this information, because some of the interviews that I've done, they're purely about business and how to start a business and how to get yourself going in a business in this space. And it's very, very good information. And even so, the BSV people have received that information very, very well. There's got to be entrepreneurs out there who do look at stuff like YouTube who might think, hold on a minute, that's great information there. Maybe I'll start having a look at a BSV business. Yeah. So that was what I was kind of thinking over December. Come on, man, stop being so stubborn. Start putting some of these things on that sodding YouTube. And, getting small views, small views.
That's good stuff. Yeah, well, I'm going to come back to you on that one because I want you to like plug your channels on Streamanity. But first, I just want to have a look at the chat room and see what people are asking here, because there's a couple of comments. Hey there, Precision Human. Good to see the Aussies are coming online now, because I think the time we're on is going to be Aussie and UK people only. The Americans are probably still asleep. He said,
hello to all the Aussies out there. Hope you're all right. Hope you're all safe.
He says, streaming video is not going to sell. You'll need to combine computation with streaming somehow. I think they're not actually hosting videos on chain, and they're definitely not streaming on chain. It's just they're using BSV as the payment system only at this stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I think...
Yes. I think it's too expensive to put those. The file sizes is far too expensive to upload on a blockchain at the moment, as Derek Moore keeps pointing out.
Yeah, Derek's done a great job of like compressing down some of those videos. They come out really good quality at the other end, and he puts them on the chain. But it's a little bit expensive to do that. Like you're talking maybe hundreds of dollars to upload one video, 1 hour long video or something. Yeah. So
even with City on Chain, John, same thing was happening with City on Chain. When we were uploading pictures onto City on Chain, they had to compress them into a file size that was lower than 94 kilobytes in order for it to be able to function properly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So everything's being compressed at the moment, but I'm assuming when the price goes up a hell of a lot and stuff like that, then these costs will change as well.
Yeah, certainly will. It's economies of scale. As soon as more people start using it, it's going to get cheaper. Streamanity itself will have more resources. I hope they can actually do streaming again, since their name is Streamanity and all.
Yep.
They did do it for a while, but then they had to stop because it was just it's just really resource intensive.
That's when they were called a different business, wasn't it? Was it Cashport or something like that?
Not sure about that.
Cashport. There was another name. They used to be called a different name. I can't remember the name now, but they used to have a different name.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was Cashport.
They were kind of
could be wrong.
They were around for a while before I came on board, so I didn't really get the start of it. But anyway, back to Streamanity and back to your channel. Can you give us a big plug for both of your channels there? I'm curious about the blockchain dance.
I do. You're curious about blockchain dance? That's good, man.
I am.
Okay, so
I'm trying here to get some up on the screen so we can actually take a look at it, but I'm having a bit of trouble getting the window there.
Okay, while you play with that, I'll quickly tell people what I do on there.
Go on.
So everybody, I've got 2 channels on Streamanity, and they're completely different genres. One of them is called the BSV Business Show, where I like to meet entrepreneurs within the space and literally just pick their brains about entrepreneurship and business in the Bitcoin space, because business is something that I'm very passionate about and have been since long before Bitcoin, even when I was 16, 17 years old, which feels like years and years and years ago now. Business has always been a huge passion of mine. I'm fascinated with making something out of nothing, and I love the passion for it in the BSV space. And the other channel I've got is called Blockchain Dance. I'm a dancer by trade. I teach young people how to dance, and what I've done on Blockchain Dance is trying to prolong my career by uploading things that I have learned over the past 15 years, and just giving myself a chance that when my body begins to clap out, I can still at least have something where I can try and earn some money with my dancing. So I teach dance tutorials on there that are designed for people of all ages. Adults can use it, children can use it. You can learn how to dance on there. You can learn some dance moves when we're going to have these BSV parties. And I'd like to think that I've taught them in a very basic fashion as well. So easy to understand and a lot of fun and good exercise and stuff.
There we go. I've got I got some of it up on the screen now, so people can at least see the channel. I got to remind everyone, I'm a total amateur at this streaming thing, so that's why it's gonna look a bit weird when I do it. But yep, yeah. Can we check out one of the videos? Do you want to do that?
Of course. Yeah, please. Yeah, why not?
All right, let me.
I think I've done a Craig Wright dance. I've done a BSV, the Roger Veer dance, Charlie Lee dance.
Which one do you recommend?
I quite like the Charlie Lee dance. It's quite a good move, and it's.
Does that end with you like dumping all of your Litecoin?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, it's like a Litecoin shill. The whole video. No, it's not really. The dance is called the Exit Scammer, and it's named after a guy called Charlie Lee, who is one of the proprietors of the Litecoin blockchain. I'll put in inverted commas there. So yeah,
that's actually that's playing now.
The Exit Scammer.
It's playing now, right? So yeah, you know, in street dance we like to have fun. A lot of our dance moves in street dance are made after characters. People like you know, there's a Bart Simpson dance move, there's a Cabbage Patch dance move, there's all different types of dance moves made after all types of people. There's a Steve Martin that we do, and that's the same in Australia, it's the same in America. And I decided to take some of the characters within the Bitcoin space and make special dance moves for us lot to do when we have our parties. And you're looking at the Charlie Lee now, which is called the Exit Scammer, which is where you pretty much put a hand in your pocket like you've just pocketed loads of money, and then you reach up here to the all-time high. And then you just do that to the beat of the music and have some fun.
You can't actually see this video playing, right? So it's only the viewers who can see that.
So it's just the commentary you can hear, yeah?
Yep. This is like a DVD commentary track.
Yeah. That's all good, guys. Yeah, so, you know, if anyone's looking for exercise out there and a bit of fun and stuff, you know, I'm trying to show people how Streamanity can be used, and also for any other dancers out there. You know, I want to entice dancers into the space and get you putting your tutorials on something like Streamanity, so you can actually monetize and, you know, build up a bit of a name for yourself. So the videos have actually received quite good views, John. You know, I'm quite pleasantly surprised. But it's always the BSV dance videos that get the views. For example, the Charlie Lee, the Roger Veer, the Craig Wright, the BSV dance move. It's never the actual.
There we go.
Say that again.
I'm just going to fast forward it a bit so people can actually see the dancing.
You look like you're loving it, man.
I am. No,
have you tried any of these dances, John?
I'm more laughing at my my complete lack of OBS skills here.
Yeah, so part of the let me explain part of the thinking of these videos as well, John. I mean, apart from entertaining us lot and having some fun with us guys and trying to bring a bit of humour into the space, there's often a lot of mum and dads who can't actually afford my dance classes in my
Mm-hmm.
local area. And when I was thinking about Streamanity, I was thinking, well, say if you're a parent and you can't actually afford a weekly dance class, 15 cents,
Yeah.
20 minutes, 15 cents, 20 minutes. It sort of opens it up to to like I say, with all the parents who can't always afford things like that. So that was part of
Yeah.
the thinking as well, was actually getting an affordable dance tutorials for people. And for me, there's no better platform than Streamanity. It'd be nice if they could actually, if you could actually embed a video, but because it's not on chain like you said before,
Yeah.
it's hard for that to work and to get people to actually pay for it as well. But
All right.
yeah, I'm going to get back on these. I've made a couple of dance videos since the start of the new year, but those have been just videos of my students and I just dancing to show people what it looks like in my dance class, so they can see. Yeah, that's what I do, John. I'm a dancer, so you might as well take what you do and use your skills and try and apply them to Bitcoin. I think it sets a good example for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what made you decide to do like, a blockchain personality inspired dances?
That's what I do, John. I mean, that's what I do every day. I'm dancing in 4 hours and 11 minutes and 22 seconds, and I can't wait, and I'm very excited about that. That's what I do from a day-to-day basis. And I remember Craig Wright saying a while ago, whatever your interests and hobbies and whatever it is that you do,
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin has got a place for it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to inspire people of all different genres, whatever it may be, whether whether you review books or whether you do, like I was saying to Rita, Rita, I call her
Yeah.
Reets. Rita, she's from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
Frank's wife. I was saying to her
Uh,
that her and I think her daughter's called Brianna or something like that. But I was saying to Rita that she ought to upload some cooking videos. She's got a massive passion for cooking. Her cakes are like the best cakes you've ever seen in your life. They look so good you can almost taste them through the computer pixels, John.
yeah.
Right? So I was saying to her, like, get on Streamanity and teach people how to make the cakes. I might try one of your recipes. So I'm trying to inspire people who have got interests away from just blockchain to say, I'll have a go. People like Diddy Weldon, some of Diddy
Mm.
Weldon stuff that she posts on there. I don't watch all of it, but at least she's sort of engaging in her own interests and trying to put content out there. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I thought Streamanity was all about. I didn't think it was supposed to be just a platform where you talk about BSV Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You can do dancing on there. You can review books. You can do cooking things. You can, whatever your interest is, it's there. So that's why I started it, John, really.
Yeah. You're
And also to
absolutely
make
right.
money. I was looking at the BSV price thinking, if this does go up at some point, the money that I make now will be worth a lot of money at some point in the future. And all the effort that I put in now will I'll be very, very pleased about that in the future if things do go up.
Well,
You
I
know?
mean, they already did. You're kind of right already. Anything you earned
Yeah.
before last week is worth 4 times as much now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's just. Go on,
that's
John.
why
Sorry.
I asked like anyone to come on the show. Like I didn't want to just interview people who were already developing or just had some deep knowledge of how blockchain tech works or anything like that. I wanted everyone to come on and just talk about what their interest was, because I think a lot of people when they're just starting out in this, they don't really know where they fit into it. They say like I'm not actually involved in Bitcoin. I'm just curious. I'm just getting started on it all. But I mean that's how we all got into it. Like I was working as a Bitcoin reporter, and I was still kind of learning how it all worked, and it was really jumping right into the deep end. And I think that there's a lot of people
Mm,
who could be doing something in the space, and they just don't know it yet because they haven't really thought about it much. And talking
that's
about
my
it
point.
will really help there.
That is my whole point. I mean, you've got loads of people out there educating, which is really great, and I think it adds a lot of value to the space. But a lot of these people that are educating have also got other skills as well,
Yeah.
other things within their life. Like one of my friends in the space. I won't say the person's name, but this person is a bit of a motivational speaker.
Hmm.
Or they fancy themselves as a motivational speaker. And I keep saying to this person, teach people how to do it.
Yeah.
Teach people what you're doing, motivate people, get yourself out there if that is what you do, because there will be a fraction of people within this space and it will grow that want that content, that maybe can't speak in front of people, that struggle with things like that.
Yeah.
Go out there and get paid to do it. Rita, go and cook. Like if you're the best at making cakes, I want to know how to make a cake. I want to know.
Hmm.
So people need to just have a look at what their skills are and not just necessarily rely on, I can explain to Bitcoin to everybody. So what? So can Craig. Yeah, so can Craig Wright. So can Shadders. So can Connolly. So can a million other people out there. But there's people who have got skills out there. I'm reaching out to all the people that have got skills. Have a think about your skills out there. People will want your skills. And it's been proven by me. I'm a dancer. I didn't expect any reaction at all from people in this space because I know nobody dances really in this space. But
you never know.
There's a fraction of people that have been watching my videos, everybody, that like them, that encourage me. And I've made a little bit of money. Try it. Why not try it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think if what you do is part of the economy, or if it could be part of the online economy, then there's a place in Bitcoin. Do it.
Massive. Yeah.
And that's a good thing about BSV too. Because like it allows a lot more people to do their stuff on it. Like we're only just starting to find out what's even possible on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Even when I first jumped into this, like I didn't even know. I knew nothing about the metanet. I didn't know about tokenization. I didn't know about any of those plans. But yeah, I mean, I've liked everything I saw so far, and it only
tokenization,
a
John.
Bit. Yeah.
You can technically tokenize the Great British Pound.
Yes, you could
make it run better, make it run smoother, make it more efficient for the government, make it better for the people. Make it faster for the people. Microtransactions, we can do those. We can do that for any currency or business in the world. And what I like about James Belding, who's the guy behind Tokenize, as you know, he's doing it by the letter of the law. He's taking his time. He's not rushing things, and he's doing things by the letter of the law. So it would be like Ethereum, which is actually legal by most financial jurisdictions in the world, which is exactly what we want in Bitcoin BSV. And therefore, I could even start a token for my dancing stuff. Maybe charge the parents in a coin, give them a discount for using it, convert back out to BSV if I want. Absolutely, tokenization's going on. I saw something the other day, John. They were saying that we can actually do Visa's transactions more efficient than Visa.
Yeah, I reckon.
If you're just peer-to-peer cash, you're not thinking down those lines. Whereas we are. We are. And when I looked at Visa's business, John, and I looked at one of their transaction processing plants, it looks like a mining farm. It looks exactly like a mining farm, exactly the same.
Was it as noisy?
Very noisy, but they own obviously the computers, whereas ours is distributed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any business around the world can decide to join in the party, whereas with Visa, if you're not with Visa, then you ain't going to process those transactions. But how many transactions can they cope with on their own? Can Visa cope the way we can cope? Well, no. As soon as we go back to Genesis and everything's back, the level of transactions we'd be able to do. What did I see quoted somewhere? Was it 14 million per second or per minute or something ridiculous like that? Like a ridiculous amount of transactions we'll be able to do on this blockchain that should facilitate MasterCard, Visa, any bank in England, any bank in the world. The infrastructure's coming.
I was watching some of Craig Wright's old supercomputing lectures, and I was reading some of his articles on that, and I realized when I read those, like this guy is thinking on a completely different scale and timeline to everyone else. Like back in the early days of the internet, people were just talking about how to post images on an HTML page, and they maybe a few people were thinking about streaming video back then, or streaming games, but no one thought that it was actually possible to do it because, you click on an image and it would take like 30 seconds to load just that image. So, and that's the way most regular people were looking at it. And that's the way they see Bitcoin now, whereas it's the people who have that glimpse of the future, like they've seen what supercomputers can do, and they know that regular computers and regular networks will be doing that. They'll have those capabilities in 10 or 20 years' time. Like they're the people who are going to do well out of this because they'll see it years before anyone else does.
He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. I think when you've got a nice combination of being brought up in a harsh, from what I understand, a fairly harsh environment. He wasn't brought up with a silver spoon in his mouth. People like that, where I come from, have got a lot of common sense. When you combine that common sense with hyper intelligence in many, many different domains, then you're going to get a very special and talented individual, as far as I'm concerned. And I said to again, I keep saying this, but I said to someone last week, whoever made Bitcoin has got a wealth of life experience in many, many different domains. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. And that's why people like Vitalik, as talented as he is on a computer, in my opinion, can't really cut the mustard in something like this. And people like Roger just haven't got enough life experience about them in those different domains to really put all of this together. So you tend to get a one-dimensional view of what they think is a blockchain. Whereas when you're under someone like Craig and you're listening to him educate, it's phenomenal. You're quite right, John. He does see the future. He is ahead. And I sort of recognised that in 2017, 2018. I said to my friend, he's 20 years in the future, this guy. He knows how the future's going to pan out because of his life experience and his hyper intelligence in many different domains. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. As for Roger, he didn't actually make Bitcoin. He was just like an early investor and an advocate for it. So he's more on the business and political side of things. So he has enough like life experience to tell him that we need an alternate system. But yeah, he's not the guy who made it. So that's why.
I don't think so, John. I think he's just my personal opinion. I think he's slightly deluded, and I think he's missed out on a great opportunity to work with people like Calvin Ayre and Craig, and he's blown that opportunity. And you don't want to go to war with those types of people. You don't want to go to war with Calvin, in my opinion. He's been there and he's a war horse. He's a seasoned war horse. He's been there and he's done it. He's had to do it for all throughout his business career. You don't want to go to war with Craig Wright. He's not the man you want to go to war with. Roger had everything in place there. And Jihan had everything in place as well. If they stuck with people like Craig and Calvin and Enchain and all of these businesses over here, I think they would have had a much brighter future. But, I don't have very good feelings for BCH over the next 12 months. I have a feeling that they could capitulate. I'm not sure if they're going to be strong enough to move forward, John. Your favourite blockchain.
That is true. I think there are a number of people in BSV. Like the only thing they were interested in was alternate financial systems and on-chain scaling, and both BSV and BCH still offer that. I would think it's a lot easier for those guys to come on board after a while, and there'd be no shame in it either. And like I said, I still know some people in Bitcoin Cash, and I think that their main opposition to it is like Craig and Enchain. Like they don't want those people in charge of it for some reason. Like obviously I don't have a problem with it, but they did.
But the thing is, what I would say to those people is that business is business and patents are patents. Yeah, and it's too late because we've got the patents now, and business is business, and in decent businesses protect themselves by getting things like patents and doing business correctly. And Enchain are a fantastic example of how to do things properly and by the letter of the law. And look where they stand now with all their patents.
Yeah.
I think I saw Peter McCormack put a post at the end of last year saying something like, "I hate patents." Well, I think we're going to see a few more of those because what you said before about the streaming and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that Enchain have all those patents, and they're only there to be used on BSV Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, which demonstrates incredible foresight, which is what you would expect from a business like Enchain. So I know what these people, people seem to have this problem with Craig, and I think a lot of it comes from. I think they're just intimidated by his confidence and by his intelligence. Whereas, speaking for myself, I'm not intimidated by his confidence or his intelligence. I simply want to learn from it and ride on that type of vibe, and sort of put that into my own businesses and ideas. And I do. He fills me with a lot of confidence. And if these people would just have a look at some of his Medium posts, perhaps, and look at some of the developments that are being done over at Enchain, I think they might change their mind. But people have got a hatred of Craig.
They do.
But they don't even know the guy. They don't even know him. So how can you hate someone that you don't even know?
It's just like that internet dogpiling that people do, and it's very similar to schoolyard bullying when you're a kid. Like there's this kid in your class that everyone picks on, and maybe you join in, maybe you just stay out of it, or whatever. But when you think about it, there's no reason why that kid gets bullied. Like they didn't do anything wrong. They're not bad people, but they're just the kid that got singled out and got picked on. And it's so much easier to just join in You know, you get a lot more laughs if you start picking on them too. But
Yep.
if you know that if you stand up to defend that kid that's getting bullied, they're gonna pile on you as well. So I think
Yeah, well, I
it's
did
that
that at
kind of
school once,
mentality.
and then yeah,
Yeah,
I did
we
that at
probably
school
all
once,
did.
John. I ended up having a fight with the bully. Yeah, so yeah, you're
You're
right.
you're a more honourable man than me. I think I was one of the
Yeah.
guys who just sort of stood back and watched it happen. But
Oh, mate, I took the bully out. Yeah, I planted one straight through
nice,
his chops. Yeah, and
excellent.
I
Defending
stuck up
someone
for my
else.
mates. Yeah, but I know I get your point though. You're right. You get a lot of that in this space where one person will say a comment about Craig, and then 20,000 other people will just jump on it
Yeah.
without having done any research or looked into things themselves or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange behaviour. Oh, I don't like Craig. Oh, neither do I. Oh, I don't like his haircut. Well, is that a good enough reason to start chastising someone because you don't like their appearance, or you don't like the fact that they're a confident person, or the fact that they've got all these patents is farcical, really. People need to perhaps grow up out there a little bit.
Yeah. Like if you're encountering Craig Wright for the first time, like me, maybe he does initially come across as a little bit abrasive, a little bit odd. Like I say that in the most complimentary way, because I think I think he's quite funny, and like he's got a very subtle sense of humor that not everyone gets at first, and he also really knows his shit. So it can combine all those things, but it's not always like really obvious when you first see him. Like you come online, you discover Craig Wright for the first time. Like he's making all these claims. You search for his name on Google, and instead of getting praise, like you get all these links saying like he's a crook, he's a fraud, that kind of thing. And you've got to get past all of that. Like you watch videos, and like he'll get heckled on stage. So to even get into it, like you gotta get past all of that. And it'd be very easy to stop before you get to that stage and say, haha, everyone's laughing at this guy. I'm going to laugh at him too. And, my tweet will get 100 likes. If I stand up for him, people will block me, report me for spam, and, maybe I'll get 5 likes. But, if I pick on him, just join the crowd with everyone else. They seem to be the popular kids. I'll just support them.
Exactly. There's a lot of that going on.
Doing it. Yeah, so just getting people past that stage, like trying to get them to think for themselves. I know trying to get people to think for themselves is like pushing a rock up a hill sometimes. Because
a lot of the BSV people I know have got degrees and stuff like that. And, what do they teach you in a degree? They teach you how to research your own information and how to extrapolate that information, and how to how to give that information out to in your own way. And if you're mixing with people like that, then even if you haven't got a degree or whatever, you're going to jump onto that vibe, or you can go the other way, like you're saying there, and just follow the crowd. But on that point, John, let me just raise another point there. I mean, the amount of flack that he takes, it doesn't faze the guy. And I really like that about him. I know people who have come under minor duress in this space, and they folded on the strength of 5 or 10 people having a little pop at them, and they
definitely couldn't take as much crap as he does. Like it obviously gets to him sometimes. I'm sure he like kicks the chair occasionally. Yeah,
perhaps he does, but even I was watching that Angelina Lazar thing the other day, and she was like really rude to the guy. He didn't rise to it. He didn't, he doesn't rise to these types of things. I actually think he's quite a bit of a gentleman, actually.
Yeah.
Was that?
Oh, yeah. Was that the pumpkin woman?
That was her. That was her, John. Yeah. Yeah. She had a right pop at him, and had a right. There's a dance video of her as well, by the way. Pumpkin Farmer. I called that one. That was really popular as well. Got me quite a few views, that one.
But that moment was just so hilarious that I don't think anyone could really be offended by it. It's just so unusual.
Yeah, it was weird.
It came out of nowhere too. And then she's like,
absolutely nowhere.
I had to watch it 3 times, and I'm like, did she say pumpkin farmer? Like, what? Where did that come from?
Well, she started off with
you were trying
to take your tomatoes. It was something like take your tomatoes and get out of here. And while you're at it, you're a pumpkin farmer. And I thought, what's going on here then?
I think it was a reference to something somebody had said a few days before. I found out what it was at the time, but now I can't remember it. But she created a fantastic meme, unintentionally.
Yeah, she did. She had a moment of fame, didn't she? She had her 5 minutes of fame.
She certainly did, which will go on. Let's make it last longer than 5 minutes. Every Halloween, man, she's going to come back.
Well, I'm friends with her on Skype, John. I was
Yeah.
supposed to actually interview her,
Oh, really?
believe it or not. Yeah, I was supposed to, but then I weren't too sure what the sort of reaction would be, whether people would just see it as the laugh that I was going to do and just going to have a laugh with her, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, you know what, I might get a bit of stick for this. I wasn't going to do it under the BSV Business Show. I was going to do it as the Tramp and just like you're doing now and have a bit of a laugh and stuff. But I was thinking I better not do that. And, you know, there might be a bad reaction to it, you know. So I chickened out in the end.
Ah, I would have done it.
Now, you reckon I should do it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you never really know with these things. Like it can go really well or it can go horribly wrong, and you don't really know how it is until you get on there. That's why I like to record instead of stream. But then, you know,
Same as me.
Streaming's fun because, you know, anything can happen.
Well, I think we would have a fight because, you know, she would slag off Craig and I would try to gently stick up for him and then she would continue to slag him off and I would up my tempo. It could end up and I was thinking this could end up in a shouting match. And that would be probably good views as well on Streamanity.
It would. People like drama.
Bit of money out of that.
They certain crypto people particularly like drama.
They do.
Just
drama makes money.
Looking in the chat now, Manta Ray says they can't handle that an Aussie is Satoshi. Craig's just a normal Aussie, but very smart. A normal Aussie, but very smart. Does that mean most normal Aussies are not smart?
Exactly.
That's
what it comes across. I think I know what he means there. He's basically backing up what I said before, John. I mean, if people out there can't see that this is a special individual, and this is someone talking now who, my personal tutor at university, he was advising Gordon Brown, who was working very, very closely with Tony Blair at the time, right?
Yep.
And I was at university. I was surrounded by many very, very talented lecturers who were all renowned in their own respective fields. But Craig is on a different level. You know, my best friend, he's got a PhD. You know, he's a very intelligent person. He's, you know, renowned in where he comes from for doing forestry work and stuff. He's a very, very intelligent guy, my best friend. But Craig is on a different level to even, you know, my PhD friends and all that, John. And I can recognise that. It's not a problem for me. I'm not an insecure person. So I've got no problem, you know, looking at someone like Craig and saying he's superior brain. Not a problem to me. Just learn from it, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
like, I mean, when I first encountered him, like he just, to me, he seemed like lots of guys I've worked with in Aussie offices. He just seemed like the guy in the tech support room, and he spoke exactly the same way. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Australia, but
never.
The people there can be pretty frank sometimes, and yeah, to me, like I didn't even see anything unusual about Craig. I think he was in Singapore the first time I spoke to him, but they said he was an Aussie expat. I thought, oh yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, he's very blunt. He just reminded me of the guy in the IT lab, you know, in my office or my university or something. Spoke exactly the same way. Like you, at the same time, you'd be thinking like, this guy's a bit of a dick, but he knows everything that I need to know, so I'll respect that. I don't think Craig Wright's a dick at all, by the way. I think he's actually a great guy.
The thing is, he even calls himself a dick. He called himself. I was watching an interview of him yesterday where he called himself a prick, which in England is quite a strong word actually. So I won't say the word itself, but yeah.
I see in Australia nothing's a strong word. So
I know. I love your swearing out there.
They say Craig Wright swears a lot, and I'm like, does he? I hadn't really noticed it.
I mean, for English people to hear Australian people sort of swearing, and I'm just generalising here, so no offence to anybody here from Australia, but for me to listen to Australia, when my cousins and I listen to them swearing, I love it. It's hilarious for English people because I don't think we swear as much. So when we hear it and it's so flippant, I find it hilarious. I can be on the floor crying because I'm not used to people swearing, especially in the part of town where I come from. Everybody's quite posh in that, yeah.
You see, I thought that I've never been to the UK, but I thought the Brits were pretty sweary sometimes.
Man, we do have a swear, John, but it's not on your level. Like you take it to the. I mean, for example, the C word. My cousins are so flippant with it. Yeah. They just call each other that, like in the morning, for example. Yeah, it was for us. You say that once a month. You know, watching football or something.
Yeah, the Americans in particular are very triggered by that one.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm not going to say it on this show.
Let's not say it. Let's not go there.
I try to keep it a little bit non-swear. We allow mild swear words here.
Have you sworn on the show before, John?
I think I said shit before. That's about as bad as it ever got.
That's not a swear word though in Australia, is it? That's just a normal everyday word in Australia, yes? Or is that still considered a bad one?
It is, yeah. Like, no, I don't think it's considered a bad one. See, I grew up. I had a very sweary mother and a father who never swore at all. And so it just depended, like, which parent was around, like how much I could get away with.
That's crazy, man. So your mum was always swearing and your dad never swore at all?
No, he never did. He does now. Like, he's liberalized a bit in his older years, but back in the day, yeah, like he never said, like, if he said bum, like you knew he was really furious.
Bum.
Yeah. You know, like I think he literally cut off half his finger once, and I don't think he swore. But
wow.
But yeah, my mother was a bit different. So yeah, it was just a matter of who was there and depending on the mood. But on the whole, nah, no one really cares too much. And then my sister came along, and she was the sweariest one of all. So I think she was the one who like mellowed my dad in the end. Was that Roger used to say a lot of great things on CSW? That's true. Yeah. Well, that's why I think, you know, Roger's. I don't want to speak for Roger, but I think he's pretty pragmatic. I think he would be open to rejoining BSV if it becomes the predominant chain. I'm not as down on Roger as other people are. Like I know Roger. I used to work for him. You know, full disclosure there. Yeah. So at Bitcoin.com.
So you've met him, John, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, he was actually one of the first Bitcoiners I ever met, because we both live in Tokyo some of the time.
Wow. And what's he like?
He's nice. He's a cool guy. I'd say like Craig Wright, he's another person who's kind of much misunderstood, and he's quite approachable and friendly. He it's like all people who've got a profile, right? You know, they're if you're decent to them, then they're pretty decent back. But their public persona is often different to what they're like, you know, just sitting around the table.
He's very plastic in public, very plastic.
Yeah. It's funny because he can come across as kind of stilted and scripted when he's doing his videos. But in
big time.
Yeah, in real life he's a lot more chill. I think it's he's a bit shy, like he doesn't like to give too much away, and whenever he's doing a video,
cards close to his chest.
So whenever he's doing some sort of public statement or video or something like that, he's always aware that he's talking to a lot of people, and he doesn't really relax, I guess. So but yeah,
John, I think prison affected him. You know, I think
absolutely. I mean, he
really affected him badly.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I can see the remnants of that in how he approaches blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like listening to, you know, the guy who got prisoned incorrectly or whatever he may feel, trying to get his own back at society. You know, that's sometimes I feel like he's coming from that sort of angle with BCH. You know, trying to override authority and things like that. You know, because when you sort of read up on his what happened to him in prison and stuff, it was a very, very bad experience for him.
Absolutely,
and I don't think he's from that background at all. He's not from, you know, a criminal background or anything like that. He was very blasé with what he done. And can I just say something else about him, John? I mean, I don't know the guy personally, right? But what I find funny about Roger is that he seems to position himself as this guy who is qualified to explain the world. To explain how economics is supposed to work, to explain how politics is supposed to work. And I don't think he's that guy at all. For me, sometimes it's like listening to a child, a petulant child. And often when he starts rambling on about how the world should work, I just switch off because it's just not intelligent enough for me. And like I say, it just sounds like a little baby who got put in prison incorrectly, trying to kind of say, oh, I got put in prison and I'm really upset about authority now. Therefore, I want this money that no one can trace.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think maybe a lot of people, when they first come into Bitcoin, like they have that view like, oh yeah, let's just create an alternative financial system, like they created an alternate internet or created an alternate media or broadcasting network, and everything will be fine. But it's not quite the way it works. Like there's for the same reason, I don't think we'll ever really have true anarchy or freedom in the libertarian sense. It's you've really got to work with the people who don't agree with you to a certain extent. Like eventually you may win, you may get more of what you want compared to what they want, but you're never going to get that sort of voluntarist society that they sort of aim for. And I think this could be controversial if any libertarians are watching this, but I think any sort of attempt to create that sort of system in history has been a bit of a failure, because you get a bunch of people who they want complete freedom, and as soon as someone starts making rules, like they say, well, I'm going to break away from you and start my own thing. And it's like a lot of radical political movements, they kind of splinter off just because if you don't stay pure, you're obviously disagreeing with the project, and you either leave or you cast them out, that kind of thing. And I think that tends to be what happens to people on the libertarian right, the socialist left, that kind of thing. As soon as they see someone who's like deviating from the path, they disagree with them. They start arguing with them, and it's just never going to happen.
Doesn't often work, does it?
Yeah.
No. We spoke about this. I think it was called Liberland or Liberland or some Liberty Land that was supposed to be free. And my first question was, where's the hospital and who funds it?
Right. Well, I mean, there isn't anything.
Someone has an asthma attack or something.
It's just like one shed, if that. But I know a lot of people who take Liberland really seriously, and I think in a way that was kind of the point where I started to really disagree with everyone there. Like I thought it was a bit of a joke, and it's what, like it's an island in a river somewhere that they say it's stateless because it was it was claimed by two countries or not claimed by either country, and I think those countries are like Serbia and Croatia or something, which is probably not the best position to be in if you want to be undisputed territory. Anyway, but it's like a really tiny island, and I didn't think anyone took it seriously. I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was just one of those fun sort of micronation projects, where they make a flag and they issue titles and they make novelty passports in their own currency and they're a tourist attraction, that kind of thing. But I do know some people in the libertarian and sort of voluntarist movement who think it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And they think it's going to be like the first country to adopt Bitcoin as its national currency, which is... It's nuts. Sorry, it is.
Who's going to pay for the hospitals? Who's going to pay for the roads? Is there a prison in Liberland? Can I commit crime there? Can I just shank someone? Is that fine? Is that okay? They looked at me the wrong way. I decided to shank them.
I don't think it would even get to that stage.
Your Honor. They've got a long way to go. These are, things that may perhaps we take for granted. I don't take for granted, but they take for granted. Like the road outside my house, someone put it there and it cost money.
Yeah,
and so did the lamppost. And the lamppost keeps people safe and has actually stopped a lot of people from getting raped and stuff like that. And hospitals, obviously, they cost money, and you need people to work in them. And sewage system, for example, you'd need some way of obviously, doing things like the sewage system for the country. Every country's got their own sort of system they use for stuff like that. I'm not sure if Liberland went to those extremes. I think they thought it was going to be a nice little place where we can all hold hands and be free and sing hippie songs. Say that again?
I don't think they even had any people living there. I mean, it's just like a marshland or something. Are you familiar with Sealand?
With what, sorry?
Sealand.
No.
It's
what is it?
It's like an old what was it? It was an old World War II fort out in the Thames estuary near the UK. It was technically in international waters when it was built, and some people went and they had pirate radio stations there in the 1960s, and then I think after that some guys took over this one fort, and it's just like it's literally just a fort on two big concrete pylons in the middle of the ocean with a flat top. You're big enough to land a helicopter on. And I think that's usually regarded as like the world's most successful so far micronation project.
Right.
But it was, that's all it was. It was just like a guy and his wife and his kids living there. And it was I mean, it's not big enough to support any more than that, but it's still there. It has one sort of little shed on it and a helipad, and for a while it had a gun, and it had a really big gun, and that was why it was called successful, because it was supposedly the only micronation that had ever actually defended itself militarily. Like all of the others just got completely overrun, taken over. Like there was that other one called Minerva out in the ocean. I think it was as soon as the governments found them too annoying, like the local governments, they just overran them, took them over, and all the libertarians left. But Sealand did actually fire upon a British patrol ship once, and it turned away. And that's why libertarians say, oh yeah, we could do like Sealand. But at the same time, it went nowhere. Like it wasn't big enough to support an economy. I think in the late 90s or early 2000s, they tried to turn it into a data center called Haven Co. They were filling the big concrete pylons with servers. But I don't know if it wasn't profitable. They had a fire. But with any of these things, the more successful you are, the less the powerful governments around you are going to tolerate it. And I think in the end, the British government just said, all right, we're extending our territorial zone out a few more kilometers, and look, you're in British territory now. So, and even then, no one cares anymore. They still have it, they still fly their flag, that kind of thing, but just, no one cares.
You can't just, in my opinion, from what I understand, I'm on the same page as you, I think, John. You can't just go off and create your own society. It doesn't really work like that. I don't think in any country or jurisdiction you have to play by the freaking rules of that society, and get on as a society and get on as people. You always get these people who just want to go off and do their own thing, and often I find that they're quite young people as well. A lot of them live at home. They're frustrated with mum, can't play their music too loud. They want to be free. They want to live in a place where they can turn the music up because they're 17 and they want to smoke a spliff, and that sort of stuff. But it's never really savvy adults that tend to hold those views. Perhaps when I was 17, I might have been captivated by something like BCH or that type of libertarian talk, as you call it. Mm-hmm. But being older now, no, I want something that's going to benefit everybody and benefit society. Which is, I think, what BSV is trying to do, is make everybody's lives easier in all different aspects, not just money.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to be free and just go off and do their own thing, they're going to have their work cut out because, like I said, you need hospitals, you need schools, you need roads, you need lights, you need things that cost money. So as long as the people moving there have got billions of pounds to pay for all this stuff, I suppose there'll be no problem.
Yeah,
so
true.
If Roger's going to pay for it all, I'd even move there myself.
Well, I guess those guys, they don't really call themselves libertarians as much as voluntarists or voluntarists. I can never remember which it is. They say that it's fine to have all those things, but it's got to be opt-in. If you don't want to be part of that system, then you should have the choice of staying out of it. And yeah, I can kind of agree with that in principle, but I also see how it doesn't work in practice, because if you make all of your taxes optional, how many people are going to pay it?
Not many.
I think we could definitely be more libertarian than we are. I'm not. I'm no socialist by any stretch, but you got to give people some kind of incentive to do that. Otherwise, people are going to try and get out of their taxes, and get out.
In England, John,
they're not going to care about the other people.
Sorry, let's say that again, John. I missed that.
I mean, you gotta give people incentives to want to support the society that you're taxing. And if people are too atomized and individualized, they don't really feel that, I think. But yeah, anyway, sorry, you were saying in England.
In England, Johnny, it'd be nice to know where your tax goes.
Yeah.
So you get this lovely letter that says you've paid this much tax, you know, £500-600, whatever it is, but we're not going to tell you exactly where that money went. We're just telling you that you've paid that tax. The fact that some politicians gone off and had a 5-star hotel and been paid £75,000 a year is not information that we would like you to know, but thanks for the money.
Yeah.
So what I would like to see in England is either a choice on where I can sort of direct my tax, or more information on where that tax goes. We just paid our council tax. Well, where does it go?
Exactly.
Where exactly does my count? Well, we don't know, because X percentage went to such and such a politician who's on holiday in the Maldives, but we don't really want you to know about that. You know, with Bitcoin, I don't think you'd be able to do stuff like that, John. You see, I don't think so, because there'll be a trail there where people can just go, well, hey, that's our tax money there, and it shows there that you've been to the Maldives. What happened? You know, so yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it'd be nice to have more of a choice, and more transparency on tax, but you don't. You just get told that's what you have to pay. There's your tax money. Thanks for paying it. See you next year.
Yeah, that's right. They'll give you vague figures. I think every government should have to put out an annual report. I think maybe they do, and they just bury it because they make it as boring as possible so nobody looks.
Yeah, like the manifestos, for example.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't.
You know,
they
who
don't actually
reads
want
manifestos?
I don't.
Nobody. Yeah, no one does.
Because I know,
You know, manifestos for me, they're like small print, John. They're like small print in a bank. Yeah, they expect people with a below average education level to look at 6 or 7 pages of a small print on the back of a bank statement and understand it. And these people left, you know, some people who say, some of my friends who may not be very literate will know why you'd be able to understand any of the terms and conditions. Same as a manifesto. You know, we're supposed to vote on all these politics and stuff. Well, the only real way you can vote on politics, in my opinion, is to look at the manifestos. Do they stick to the manifestos? Well, no, they never do. They never ever stick to them. So you're supposed to read a 100-page manifesto to try and understand what's going on, and then come crunch time, nothing happens in that manifesto.
Exactly. Yeah. My favorite one was when Ed Miliband chiseled all of his promises into a big stone.
Yep.
And then he lost the election anyway, and no one knew what to do with the stone. But I'd even the promises weren't really worth much. They were just like really vague things, like, you know, a fair living wage for all. Like, yeah, exactly how are you going to achieve that? Like, it's not really much of a promise. Like, every party stands for nice things, but when you get down to the specifics, they're often not very helpful. They never
deliver, do they?
Yeah.
Rarely
that's why I don't even listen to them.
Yeah, I'm the same, John. I'm the same.
Mandaray says, society will change better with BSV.
Yeah, agreed.
Spicy Meme Lord says, I don't think real government really wants anonymous money. There's something going on with criminals. Yeah. I mean, well, that's why I think Bitcoin SV is it's like the happy medium between anonymous or privacy and private, and full totalitarian surveillance. Like, I don't like the system that we've got now, where they can not only track everything you do just by pushing a button, but they can also, you know, shut you out of the system if they want. I think that's really dangerous.
Yeah.
It may not seem dangerous yet, but it could become that way in future. Like, especially if all money's digital and you can only get it through approved accounts, and if they don't like what you're saying, then they just turn off your money. It's kind of already happening in some senses. In some senses, it's going to get a lot worse. But at the same time, like full anonymity, that can't work either.
Dangerous.
Yeah, and
very dangerous.
That's another thing I learned from listening to Craig Wright too, because when you hear the stories about what actually goes on out in the world, you know, from the people who've actually been involved with it, the investigators, the law enforcement, that kind of thing, you think, yeah, well, you know, these guys do need to be stopped. And if they can operate completely anonymously, you know, that's a pretty dangerous world too. So there's got to be some level of traceability. But like they say, you know, you should have enough privacy to, you know, to keep your identity hidden in day-to-day life. But if you do something wrong and they need to find out who it was, if they need to follow that money trail, they should be able to. Yeah. And it works from, you know, the other way around too. You know, if they're corrupt, if they're doing the wrong thing, we need to be able to find out what they've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it depends if people understand how this system works, because, you know, a criminal could easily just keep switching their keys around.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that would be a feasible way for a criminal to use this particular system. But I'm just thinking, if I was a criminal and I was going to use something like Bitcoin, then yeah, well, I'd be swapping my keys all the time. It just depends on how savvy these criminals are going to be with the anonymity and privacy, like you say. However, you know, let's face it, you know, from what Craig said, being an investigator and stuff like that would be very, very straightforward for him to find, or any authority to find any trace of any transaction,
Yeah.
quite easily, really,
Well, if
which
you
is a
look
good
at
thing.
if you look at the kind of like blockchain forensics tools people are using, you know, they can actually do quite a lot to figure out like who you are if they need to.
Yeah, yeah,
And
which
you
is
even
good.
if you've used 5 different addresses in 5 different wallets, like
Yeah,
if they wanted
should
to,
know.
they could figure out that it's you. It's not easy, but that's the point. You know, like you don't want to make it too easy for them to trace everything. You know, you don't just want to look up, you know, Nick or John, type that into a computer and get a record of everything we've spent money on. You know, like it's got to be a little bit obscured, but it's got to be findable if
Yeah.
need be.
Yeah, which cash isn't, is it, John? If you're just
Nah.
going to do it in cash.
Yeah, well, I mean, cash is to a certain extent, but cash doesn't really have the reach that cryptocurrency and digital currency has. Like, I can't pay someone on
Yeah.
the other side of the world with paper cash, not easily
No.
anyway.
No.
And to you
No.
know, to the anarchists and libertarians, I would say, like, do you really want governments, you know, having a whole bunch of anonymous money too? Like, imagine what they're
No
going to do
way.
with that. Like, I'm sure they'd like it, but the
They'd love
governments
it.
would love
Yeah.
it. It's like, wow, like massive slush fund and nobody knows who's spending on what.
Yep.
You know, like I'm off to the
Little
Maldives.
backhanders, little backhander here, little backhander there, lovely jubbly.
Yeah. Forget the pile of cash in a brown paper bag. You know, like they've got anonymous Bitcoin now. So yeah,
I don't know whoever wants anonymous Bitcoin. They need to, you know, have a word with themselves. It's immature. It's childish, in my opinion. These are little baby things, and you know, you can't have anonymous money because they just dread. I mean, I work with children, for goodness sake. I mean, I dread to think what would happen. I mean, it's terrible, really. You know, you need something traceable and accountable as well for the ledger to work, I suppose. You know,
Yeah,
be
sure.
much easier for everybody, wouldn't it, John?
yeah. I'm just still reading the comments here. KP Dad says he'd still have a trail to follow, but it would take more time. And yep, that's the point. Privacy, but not full anonymity. And you want everyone to be accountable. You're, like I said, it goes both ways. If you're anonymous, they're anonymous, and like if you're traceable, they should be traceable too. At the moment, it's really one way. It's like they can trace you, but you can't look back. You can't look back into the camera and turn it the other way around. So that's what's going to happen. Anyway, man, I think we probably should call this a day soon because we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. But
That's good.
I want to ask you, are you going to CoinGeek in London?
Yeah, I've got my tickets, man.
Yeah.
I've got my tickets.
That's going to be huge. It's a
I
little
can't
bit
wait.
too far away from where I am at the moment to be going.
So you can't come.
I don't think so. No. I did consider it a couple of days ago when BSV started to really pump, but I don't think so. And plus, I do have to stay here and actually write for CoinGeek, and they need someone who's behind a desk so they can feed them all the stories. And it looks
So
like
is that what you do,
might
John?
be
You
me.
write for CoinGeek as well?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. That's my
Awesome.
like income at the moment.
nice, very good,
Yeah. It's they're a good outfit too. I really like
Very
working
good.
for them.
yeah,
They're very slick, very professional, and for an online media company, quite well resourced too. Like
yeah,
Kelvin Ayre, I think he's one of those like sort of billionaire investor guys who actually understands media, which is really refreshing because most of them don't. Like most of them see the media as a pain in the ass and that kind of thing. But
Well, look how good Charlie Miller is. Look at him, Charlie Miller.
oh yeah,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Fantastic, very professional, very intelligent, speaks so eloquently. You know, makes things very, very basic, and that's what you'd expect out of a professional outfit that's talking about BSV.
Yeah,
You know, someone like Charlie Miller, absolutely fantastic. could listen to him all day long with his smooth tones. I actually wrote to him and was asking him for advice actually on he's so composed all the time, and he did write back to me. He was actually really nice about it,
He is nice, yeah.
And really nice guy, really nice. But yeah, you can tell how professional, is the word I'm looking for. Very professional.
Yeah, well, he's like old school. He's from the BBC. Well, I'm sure he'll be there in London too. So anyway, I am a little bit regretful about not being able to go or not planning to go yet. Like if I find a way, I'll probably do it. But at the moment, I'm gonna be staying here watching from afar. So I'll be envying all you guys. And I want you to send back reports if there's a way you or any of the other guys can like jump online and maybe do a few minutes of stream from there. That'd be good too.
I would, yeah. I'll take my iPad with me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be able to do a Skype off that or something like that. We'll see. We do a quick couple of 5-minute things. Keep you updated.
Alrighty then. Thanks, Nick. And so just since we're about to sign off, let everyone know where they can find you. And just all the different places. Plug the Streamanity channels again.
I will do, John. Thank you. Well, right, everybody. I am Nicky Nu, also known as the Bitcoin Tramp on Twitter. So you can certainly follow me on Twitter. I will talk to you. We can have some fun. We can have a conversation. Anything to do with Bitcoin or anything to do with anything. I don't even care, to be honest. But you can follow me in the Bitcoin Tramp. I'm on if you want to learn how to dance, then please can you go to Blockchain Dancers, or actually it's called Blockchain Dance now, because it's just one Twitter? Of us. That's on Streamanity, Blockchain Dance, Streamanity only. That's where you can learn professional dance tutorials. And also I do the BSV Business Show, where I meet entrepreneurs from the Bitcoin SV space and we talk about nothing but business, and that's also on Streamanity as well, so please feel free to have a look there. I've just started putting some stuff on YouTube, as I said to John at the start there. So I've also got a YouTube account for the BSV Business Show, but there's only 2 videos on there at the moment. Thanks, John, for having us on as well. Thank you.
No worries. Come back anytime. And do check out the BSV Business Show on Streamanity too, because it is worth watching. I want to see you do more than 2 videos though. Yeah,
I will. I'm actually meeting someone at 2:30 for an interview.
Excellent.
And so I'm back on it now, John. I just had a lot of stuff going on at the end of last year, trying to sort out my personal business, my dancing business over here. I let it go over the summer because I was doing so much BSV stuff. And then when I looked at my books, I was practically going bankrupt. So I had to spend the last 2 months. It was really bad. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is what happens when you take your eye off the ball for 2 months, 3 months.
Sure is.
So I've been away, guys, for about a month and a half trying to sort that out. It's all sorted now. Back on track. We're earning money again, and I'll certainly be doing a lot more dance videos and business videos throughout this year. So get on them and let me know what you think. And thank you so much to John for having me on as well. Subscribe to the BSV Bitcoin SV train. Awesome content. MetaNet TV as well. Really good content. I watch a lot of the videos. You can't get more plug-in than that, John, can you? Really?
I don't think so. No. I think we plugged ourselves to death. But that's good. All right. Thanks a lot, man. And thank you very much for coming on. And thanks for being part. Thanks for being the guinea pig for my very poor streaming work here.
You're welcome. I absolutely loved it, and we'll do it again soon, I hope.
Cool. See you later.